everyone, welcome ladies and gentlemen to a new episode of today's Youth. And today we're delighted to be joined here live at the studio by Heba Ezz Eddin. She is a multitasking young lady. She's an interpreter, translator, researcher, and she also has a multiple of tasks she's doing in her personal and career life. She will tell us more about it in this episode. Thank you very much for joining us, Heba.
Thank you so much, Naveen.
Heba, starting off, you're doing a variety of tasks, mainly interpretation, translation, research. You also work as a voiceover artist and a trainer. Tell me more about all these different jobs and how are you able to cope with all that?
Okay, of course. First of all, thank you so much for introducing me, and it's really my pleasure to be here with you. First of all, the common element which collects all of those, which is passion and language, if we're talking about our inside passion and our skills. So I find myself as a language artist. I find myself that I'm really fan of languages, of learning languages, of how to study languages, of how to learn languages, new languages, and also the technicality of those languages, like the specializations. Here we're talking about training and training of language, and translating of a language, interpreting of a language, and more we can say tasks, and more job titles. So yes, first of all, as I said, my passion is to learn language and also to work for those languages. And the second point, which is my element as, for example, if I'm working as a voiceover artist, I find myself like really working with, like playing with my tone of voice. So we're talking about the skill of speaking in tone of voice. As a trainer, the passion of teaching others, to teach others something that they learn. Maybe some of them, they know that they love language, but they did not find themselves. So really, when I'm just training for some trainees, I find that I'm giving them from my experience, giving them from my knowledge. So this is something that I like so much. As a translator, I find that I'm really, obsessed of learning new terminologies and new knowledge, I can say, new information. For example, translating something related to technology, smart homes. So in this case, I'm really trying to watch first what is it about, to learn first what is it about. And also interpreting, so I'm trying to interpret from one culture to another. It's another skill, but again, the common element, which is language as well.
Right. Heba, talking more about your studies, your academic studies. You studied at the Faculty of Arts English Department, and then you studied translation and interpretation, legal interpretation also, UN translation. Tell me more about your studies, undergraduate studies.
Well, my undergraduate studies, my studies first divided into two divisions, undergraduate and postgraduate. So in my undergraduate studies, I like so much the arts, the literature, the English literature, Shakespeare. I remember that when I was studying in the university, I wrote a folder in my laptop, the real stars, and I was really so fan of Shakespeare, Eliot, Charles Dickens. Those are for me like the atmosphere. And I remember that my grades are always excellent grade because I really like how to...
You loved what you were studying.
Yes, of course. And also I memorized their words, the quotations. I was writing them in the exams. I remember also I acted Shakespearean theater, Shakespearean drama, Hamlet.
During university years?
In the university theater, yes. And
you acted the role of Ophelia?
Yeah, exactly.
She's the main character actually in Hamlet.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Great. Tell me more about this experience also.
Well, I lived the scene. I live really, I like acting so much. So I live the scene so much, and I memorize their words, their history,
Old English,
the
Shakespeare
world.
language, very old English.
Very old English, yes. It was in one of what we were studying, historical linguistics. So it was really, I like so much their words and their world, their historical world. And when I acted it, I replaced the character, the heroine. So it was really for me something that I like so much. And I always, every time our doctor, our professor choose to act some of the plays, I raise my hand, and really I'm so ready to act all of those plays in our university theater.
Heba, talking also about your postgraduate studies, you obtained your master's degree in linguistics, and you're currently studying for your PhD. Tell me more about your postgraduate studies.
After I graduated from the university, I decided to learn more about interpretation. So first I learned in American University of Cairo interpretation and UN translation, legal translation as well. And then I tend to learn linguistics. So I obtained MA of linguistics, especially semantics, because for me we have so branches of the science of a language, semantics, linguistics, so other branches of linguistics, I tend to learn them, and my MA was in irony of Egyptian culture. So I want to mix the Egyptian culture and to mix the ironical theories of those Egyptian culture. It was really some of the old I can say ironical quotations, and I analyzed them, and I enjoyed so much my study because it is relevant to our Egyptian culture, and of course we as Egyptian people, we need to be proud of our Egyptian identity.
Right, Heba, we're going to go to a short break, and we'll be right back to continue our discussion. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Still with my guest, Heba Ezz Eddin, interpreter and translator. Heba, in addition to the many tasks you're performing, you're also a researcher, and you participated in different research on the local and international levels. Tell me more about them.
Okay, first of all, a researcher. Actually, I see that the linkage between research and interpretation is to obtain and to learn more knowledge and more information from the current events and also from the current news. So for me, I was a researcher, and I conducted so many researches. First of all, in my specialization as a translator, and I have done so many researches related to linguistics, and I have participated and shared those researches here in Egypt and outside Egypt as well in scientific and international magazines. Also, I have conducted some researches related to media, and I'm really so proud that I'm a newspapers writer in the field of society and media as well.
Right. Talking also about one of your main jobs, which is participating as an interpreter in conferences locally and internationally. Tell me more about this job, and how did it add to you on the personal level?
Well, the jobs I have done, which is my main career, which is interpreter, I have participated in some conferences in Egypt here. Actually, I have started from the Emirates, and I have participated as an interpreter in, first of all, few events, small events, local events, and then international events, interpreting for international conferences, and then in Egypt, and currently interpreting for so many events related to United Nations and also other world organizations. Of course, every conference I act different, we can say different personality, and this personality, it's according to the context I'm interpreting for. For example, when I'm interpreting for FIFA or for CAF, I act as a sports commentator, and when I'm interpreting for some international conference related to education. I'm acting as a teacher, as a trainer. Something related to actors and related to, for example, Egyptian, we can say, for the Egyptian festival, for the cinema festival. I'm interpreting as if I'm actor, or as if I'm someone who is working for the career of cinema.
Right. Heba, we will continue our discussion on the conferences that you've participated in and your interpretation career, but I would like you to tell me what would you like to comment on those photos?
Well, actually, this photo, it was in the Arab League here in Egypt, and it was one of the invitations. I was invited by someone he heard my interpretation, and he really invited me for this celebrity in Arab League, celebrating Bahrain annual events. And as you see here in those photos, I really captured some photos with some Bahrainian people, and it was really one of my achievements I've done in my life. Mm-hmm. As this one as well in the Arab League as well.
Right, and this one?
Yes, all of them in the Arab League.
In the Arab League?
Yeah.
Right, next one, please. Well, Heba, we were talking about interpretation and your main career in participating in different conferences, and how did this add you on the personal level?
Well, as I said before, I'm interpreting for different contexts. For example, cinema. Cinema festival in Egypt, it was really for me like you are learning new movies. We can say documentary movies, we can say new movies, new culture. Mm-hmm. And in this case, some of the photos also you will find that I have captured so many photos with some actors, some actresses. So in this case, you will find yourself different personality. Mm-hmm. When you're interpreting. So you need to, like when we're saying celebrating new film, new movie. And as interpreter for example, FIFA and CAF, you need to speak with the context of sports, mm-hmm. of championships, of achievements in the sports for Egyptians, for all of the Egyptians. Every role you're playing in every event, in every conference, really gain more to your personality. Mm-hmm. So, for example, for me, the interpreter is in different personalities. So I consider myself different, playing different personalities, playing different roles in those contexts and those conferences.
Mm-hmm. Right. Heba, well, you're for a long time in the career of interpretation and translation and research. Definitely you faced a lot of obstacles and many challenges. Tell me, how do you overcome obstacles and how do you face challenges in order to continue and proceed with your career?
Yes, actually this question is really important, and I address my speech now to the graduate students who are, or fourth years or fifth year university students who are close to be graduated. So first of all, yes, you will find so many career challenges, and you need first to discover what's inside you, what you're dreaming of. Mm-hmm. For example, in the language, do you want to start as a translator, as an interpreter, or do you want to start as a teacher, as an HR consultant? And then you need to learn what you have chosen. Mm-hmm. So for me, I really faced some challenges of learning. First, what do I want, translator or interpreter? I wanted to be an interpreter, and then I discovered no, I really want to be translator first, and then I learned more about translation and then interpretation. So step by step, yes, you're facing difficulties and obstacles, but you need to, I can say, organize and arrange yourself according to the priorities. After figuring out so many challenges and obstacles, I can say that I have overcome those obstacles by arranging my mind, by figuring out what I want to do first. First of all, learning, which is to learn what you want to be. Second point, which is also to start your career as a trainer, as a trainee. The third point and the last point, which is to start your career, even start with what can we say, the minimum of your career.
Right, we have some other photos for you, Heba, here. Would you like to comment on?
Yes, it was in the last day of film festival, and I have seen so many actors and actresses. We have interpreted. I was one of the interpreters participated in this festival as the main interpreter, and we have interpreted for a long, I think, 4 or 5 days. And this was the last day, and I felt so relieved because it was really successful interpretation with our team of interpretation.
Mm-hmm. Right. Heba, what would you like to tell youth about persistence and perseverance to reach your goals?
Well, I'd like to tell people that yes, you will find some obstacles and some challenges every time. For example, if we start our first stage, which is learning what you want to be, if you're going to learn, for example, human development, you will find obstacles because first, when you start learning, everything will be new for you, and you need to be patient. So this is my first advice. You need to love what you're learning, and you need to maximize and extend your knowledge in this field. Do not depend only on this place that they will teach you everything about, for example, human development or human resources, but also try to extend more and more.
Right. Let's talk about female empowerment. I mean, this would lead us to talking about youth empowerment and female empowerment. How far do you think females have achieved the rights, not only in Egypt, I'm talking internationally also?
Well, I'm so proud of women who are achieving their goals, because if we get back to the past, we'll find that women were forbidden and prevented of their basic rules and of their basic rights, and it was really something it was really so shameful. But now, currently in this age, we see women as in the parliament, ministers, and all over the world as well. We see that women are presidents. We see that women are leaders, even sports. We are so proud of our girls who are champion outside, and we're so proud that they are the Egyptians who really achieved some champions.
In Egypt, we've seen women throughout the past 7 years in parliament, ministers. I mean, everywhere they are achieving the best career posts now in Egypt.
Of course, and also the gender equality now. We're aware of the gender equality. We cannot find some people who are saying, no, women are forbidden of their rights, and we don't have gender equality in our culture. You'll find so many, I can say, objections towards those people, because yes, now we can witness that there is in Egypt gender equality, and all over our Middle East and all over the world as well.
Right. Heba, what's a final word that you would like to deliver to the youth from your place here?
Well, actually, I'd like to say that you need to believe in yourself. If you really believe in yourself, you can believe that you can do anything. You can achieve your goals. You can reach to the career you're dreaming of. And also, I'd like to say that we need to have, for the families of the students who are in university, really the families need to support their children. They need to encourage them to believe in themselves more and more, because the family role is really important. So those are my final words, and I really hope and wish all the best for all of the students and for all of the people who are starting their career.
Right. Well, I would like to thank you very much, Heba Ezz Eddin, interpreter, translator, researcher, voiceover artist, everything together, multitasking, and of course, all the best of luck, Heba.
Thank you so much, Nadine. Thank you.
And your viewers, don't forget to join us next week, same time. Till then, it's goodbye.